Hey, my name is Todd Barr. I'm the Chief Marketing Officer of GitLab, and this is the intro video for the July 29th marketing key meeting. I'm just going to hit a couple of things in an executive summary fashion and go through our Q2 OKR results, and then I'll leave the rest up to you to peruse through the presentation itself. So let me share my screen and we'll get started. Okay, so to get us going here, I'm just going to sort of share this time in an executive summary format. So highlights for marketing metrics. So what you'll see today is metrics up through June, a few leak into July, but July is not done yet. And we also will talk sort of about Q2, which is almost done as a whole, just to kind of give a sense for where we are on a higher level. Some highlights, GitLab versus GitHub share of voice was actually up to 65% in June, which is a great achievement. So thanks to Natasha and her communications team. 13.1 release had 373 contributions, just an extraordinary result for Ray and the community team and the engineering team who merged those. Remote awareness activities and content continue to perform for both impressions and engagement. North America web traffic is showing strong growth. We'll talk more about web traffic on the concern side, but in general, North America web traffic is showing strong growth, and we're tracking globally to our goal of 20% overall web traffic growth, but with a few caveats. New business pipeline creation is exceeding our goals across all segments, which is good news. And customer case studies and AR are both performing well and outpacing their goals. In particular, I just want to point out that the case study team is really producing a lot of case studies, many of which we actually hold for media ops and things like that. So you can see that in the metrics. Overall concerns for me in the metrics with the Black Lives Matter movement, which was super important and super important that we respect that movement by pausing social media and digital media. But that affected our social metrics. It affected our MQLs and it affected our advocate metrics. And so there weren't as many interactions, which meant we didn't put as many out to experts and some of those other types of things. But in general, it'll take some time to recover from that pause. In terms of overall numbers, but an important pause, and I just wanted to point that out, that there was an impact that we're seeing in our metrics. Number two, we are definitely seeing seasonality in our MQL numbers. We didn't really model that, but it's pretty clear that it is an impact, and I'll show you that. Then the third one is our July homepage web traffic is down just under 8% so far, and our trials are down 8% similarly, which is correlated. And we want to talk a little bit about the challenges we're seeing there. And then finally, while pipeline is strong, SEOs are down in each segment, and we aren't sure totally why. There is some correlation to our SDRs, who, while they're having a strong pipeline quarter, their number of SEOs are down vis-a-vis Q1. And so that looks to be affecting large. But you sort of have the opposite effect in SMB, where SDR SAOs are up, and yet overall SAOs are down quarter over quarter. That said, I want to remind you that new business pipeline is strong. So we're trying to figure out exactly why that SAO change is happening. Seasonality is a reality. We see it in MQLs. And so I compared, just to show that, I compared quarter over quarter growth for Q1 and Q2. And what you see is we're down MQL-wise a little bit in large this quarter, but we're 39% over where we were year over year. So you can see in the graph there the kind of that seasonality of Q2 last year across all segments. So similar story in mid-market, although we're down a little bit more in mid-market, but we're still growing almost 30% year over year, but our growth is a little down over where it was in Q1. And in SMB, it's a little up. So I'm not too concerned about the MQL analysis, although we are looking into MQLs because of the web traffic that you'll see here in a minute and also just kind of going through all our systems and making sure everything's flowing correctly, because we want to see those MQLs going up as per our goals. And the last thing I'll say from an executive summary standpoint is this analysis that Shane Rice has been doing about our homepage traffic that he's seeing in July. There's a 7-minute video here that I would encourage you to watch. Really, the takeaway is that Google is still seesawing between about.gitlab.com and gitlab.com for our domain authority, which is limiting our direct search and our search traffic momentum. And it's a problem, and we've got to figure out how to solve that. It's, most companies have something like an app.gitlab.com where their SaaS application would be. That's not the choice we made. So we have to figure out how to solve that in a way that stops Google seesawing every few months between, which .com domain or subdomain it's indexing. The other issue is GDPR cookie bot changes is really hampering our EMEA traffic tracking. We are getting the traffic, if I understand Shane correctly, but cookies are required for our forms and engagement. So it's going to show an impact in our engagement from our EMEA traffic. And you can see some of that in the numbers, but watch the 7-minute video from Shane for more insights into that. I want to spend the rest of my time here talking about OKRs. So Q2 OKR updates. We had ambitious OKRs. We were doing a lot trying to really respond to the fact that we were not on the road traveling during Q2 and try to get our marketing house more in order. The first one was called Strengthening Our Inbound Marketing Core. I would say we got about half of this done. That's just sort of my analysis. The first one was Core Usage Insights. We didn't operationalize them, meaning we don't have a way yet to take these from kind of IP addresses and get them into our database on a repeatable way. And so we've got to figure out how to do that. But what we do have is we did scrape a set of companies, about half of which were in large and half of which were in mid-market. And we now have a live demand-based campaign going against them around conversion, which is showing some good early results. So assuming that continues to show good results, we have to operationalize how we get that data into our database. And that'll be something that marketing ops has to take on. Number 2, free trial CTA changes across top 5 pages. We did this. One of the highlights is we put a free trial CTA on our install page, and that's resulting in about 150 to 200 additional self-managed trials a week. So congrats, Shane R. on that. Nurture paths for top CTAs were not revised. That is now pushed to Q3 and Dunk's team, but campaign CTA paths were updated. And then the last one is video and content integration live on Docs. We did actually get some content integrated to Docs and started testing that, and have seen some pretty good results so far of conversion into our some of our demand gen things. So we're going to need to continue that work to continue to link Docs into our demand gen programs and other CTAs on our sites. The second one was CMO Virtual Event Excellence. We did a great job on this, to be honest. I'm really proud of the team. They put together an amazing handbook page, which if you click on this, you can see about 3 different types of virtual events and how to do those events, including decision trees on how those are supported. And then they also trained about 100 GitLabbers on this. So they really did a great job on this, and you see that in more virtual events that we're doing. We have a lot more training to go and a lot of iteration on this, but they did a great job of really documenting how to do virtual events and then doing those, executing on a lot of virtual events as you see in the calendar. The next one was the the launch of the GitLab.tv concept MVC. All of these things got done with the exception of number 3, which were still held up a little bit on some of the video bands, but I just wanted to show you what a video band looks like on our homepage, which is where the first one is. So if you go to about.gitlab.com and you scroll down, you see now a featured videos band. And this band is actually a dynamic band that allows us to go right into content in a window, which is coming up now slowly. And so it's a great step forward. We have 3 channels that were done, a video channel playbook, which is on the handbook that was released to talk about how you do a channel and the types of information that you put on a channel. So a lot of good progress here. What we need to see is that progress now showing up in video bands across our website, and you'll see many of those come to fruition in the first part of August. The next one was the marketing efficiency improvements projects, AKA the boring project. I think, the way I look at this is everything's in process and we've got between 75 and 80% of it done. Amy is cleaning up all kinds of fields in Marketo to give us better data and to make it easier to do forms and calls to action. We have implemented third-party data enrichment, and we continue to finish that implementation with Zoom Info and other things. We have enabled field marketing to create their own campaigns. We are in process on modular email templates and GDPR and email compliance plans, working closely with legal. And we have selected a localization vendor, Smartling, and are working with them on a number of localization initiatives. The next one was project management simplification. I'm giving this a 50%. The truth is, we became a good example of the challenge that went of aligning agile workflow processes across an organization that's already largely using workflow processes and an agile methodology across different organizations. So the project KRs turned out to be unrealistic. The team pivoted and created a set of guidelines, which we're now sort of ratifying through marketing. And then what we really underestimated was the change management need to get everybody aligned. And so we're still working on that. There's a final update linked there. We use GitLab extensively for project management, and we're still not fully aligned, but we are committed to getting there, hopefully in Q3. And then the last one is we did a training SDRs to be DevOps and product specialists. The training was completed and launched on time, and we are in process on 50% of SDRs certified by the end of July. We're at 30%, I believe, as of right now, and I know they're trying hard to get as close to 50% as possible by the end of the quarter, which is a few days away here. So that's where we ended up with our Q2 OKRs. So I'm going to stop there for this executive summary, and the slides have a lot more metrics in them, and then, as always, look at our dashboards, and I'll address questions tomorrow in the meeting. Thank you very much.